Zach. Strum that rhythm, never look back. Easy talking when racing's a blast. Just here on the High Octane Podcast.
And welcome back to the High Octane Podcast. My name is Zach, and I did it again. Wait, why are we? Wait, we're flip flopped. What's going on here? Wait, I don't know how I didn't notice this the whole time. We're on different sides. What's going on?
Well, I guess I'm Zach Woods, and you're Ricky Gonzalez. So, we'll blame computer.
No, didn't fix it. What's going on?
Well, it's okay. They know who we are.
I've trained myself. You know what? Wait. We'll just yoink this over here, and then we'll put my nameplate under me, and then we'll just. Oh no, not that. Everybody just wait. Hey, we went on vacation. Everything goes to crap. It's fine. All right. There we go. Now at least our nameplates are right. And then I have to train myself after I untrained myself to look over here or here to talk to you before. See, now I can't even get this right. You know, look over here to talk to you. Now I got to go back to this. But anyway, welcome back to the High Octane Podcast. My name is Zach Woods, and over there is my buddy Ricky Gonzalez. Say hello to the internet, Ricky.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm not gonna lie, Zach. It's been a pretty horrendous day with things going on at work and all that stuff, and kind of just made my night just now. Just kind of made me forget about what was going on, and we're gonna get everyone. I like this title, Zach. I'm proud of you, by the way. Charged up for Charlotte. Friday Night Fuel heads to Charlotte Motor Speedway, our longest race of the year. And we got a lot to talk about, my friend. It's been a while since we've been on the show together. Glad to have had an opportunity to meet you in person. And we'll talk about that in our pit stop later on tonight. And yeah, we'll recap what's going on in Martinsville. Have a couple weeks off, bye week. Me and you didn't have an opportunity to do the Atlanta stuff. We had so much going on while we were down in Atlanta for that Cup race, and man, I'm eager to see what happens tomorrow night when these guys take on Charlotte, longest race of the year, my friend.
Yep, Crown Jewel meets Friday Night Fuel this coming week, so really excited to dive into that and talk to you about what makes this event so special. So, but before we do that, we got to recap what has happened in Friday Night Fuel since we've been gone. It's been a hot minute, but really there's only one race to recap, and that would be the drivers making their way around the paperclip at Martinsville a couple of weeks ago. In between then and now, we've had a all-star race sort of bye week for the league, and then now we're getting ready for Charlotte. So just to recap, Martinsville, this was a race that featured 8 caution flags over its 300 lap event, and Mark Gonzalez comes out victorious over 8.5 seconds over Spencer Teal. You, Ricky, finished third. Nate E stepped fourth. And then the rest of the field was multiple laps down. You had Brett Bullard finishing fifth, 2 laps down, and then so on and so forth with the rest of the order. But yeah, Mark is pretty good at short tracks and managed to flex his muscle here again at Martinsville.
Yeah, he was able to come from the back, wasn't able to win the stage, and then kind of just made his way through the field and got to the front, and then he just played his cards right. He just pitted when he was supposed to pit, short pitted, and then was able just to maintain that big margin that he had. We were cutting down a little bit. I believe it was like, I don't know, 18 seconds at one point, and Teal and I were able to cut it down to within 8, and we just kind of stayed there. Once we got it down to 8, we just stayed there and didn't really do anything with it. We thought tires were going to be a little bit better than what they were. Last year with a custom set, you didn't see the fall off as much as you did on an iRacing default setup. And so, yeah, Mark just played the cards right, played his hand, went all in, and came out victorious. So kudos to him and that crew. for coming away with a victory. So that ties him. I believe that's his first victory of the year. Could be wrong. Maybe his second. Actually, yeah, it is his second. And so actually that ties you with the amount of wins, and he locks himself pretty much into the playoffs.
Yes, and um, I just got confirmation the Mariners lost. They had a no hitter through 7 1/3 and
Mm.
lost in extras,
I'll,
and they
I'll
had a
wait till
5 run lead,
we can
and
wait
they
till
had a
after the
five.
show. We'll
Man,
we'll
they had a
wait
five
till
run lead and blew it.
man. The
Anyway,
Rangers will never do that.
mhm. So, uh, goodness, but yeah, Martinsville, of course, presented itself with its own unique set of challenges, and really, it is an opportunity for Mark to make up for lost time, right? Where he missed a few races in the beginning of the year. Now it's come out swinging, and it looks like the defending champ is starting to flex his muscles and try to make a good push here for the playoffs. We talked a little bit earlier, though, this week. Mark will not be present for this coming week at Charlotte. So the field can at least get a breather as Mark starts to flex his muscles and then he backs off again. So two wins for him is really boding well for him early on.
Yeah, and I mean that the best ability. Tongue twister. The best ability is availability. And so when Mark not being able to show up tomorrow, that's going to hurt him in the points, right? It's going to hurt him if multiple drivers do get multiple wins throughout the season, which I'm probably expecting some drivers to accomplish that feat. Um, it's going to be hard to catch whoever that person is at the top. And speaking of points, that person on the top is I think is it this way or is it that way? I don't know which way. I don't know what to do with
uh,
my hands.
tor- Towards Elvis.
So this guy over here, not Elvis, but my partner in crime that does a podcast with me, he's actually leading the points, and so that's going to solidify him as having a big day. You have some of these heavy hitters that are missing tomorrow night, and we'll talk more about that once we preview Charlotte. But that's going to bode well for you, my friend, of trying to extend that point lead and try to solidify you wrapping up the regular season championship.
Yeah, and Dalton Gibson chiming in here. Can't wait for tomorrow. Pay attention to him. He's been a player all year long, and he's going to throw his hat into the ring tomorrow, I'm sure. But let's take a look here at points. Points are going to be up on the screen for you guys. As you can see up top, it's getting tight, but Ricky also told me that he is not coming tomorrow, so that's another sigh of relief for me personally. But yeah, it's tight up there. You got 14 back to Ricky, and then Bill Slate. Right, we talked about your best trade is your availability. Bill's been racing in all the races. He's not going to be here this week either, so it's really up for grabs for a lot of these guys. I'm looking at a guy like Dalton Gibson sitting there in seventh. He knows he's racing tomorrow. Could be a big point swing for him. Sitting seventh in points, right? 83 behind the leader, but he can make up a lot of ground tomorrow.
Yeah, anything could happen in any of these races, right? Whether it's a short track, road course, super speedway, mile and a half, it don't matter. You can make up points, and if Dalton can capitalize on a good day tomorrow, that should move him closer. He may jump. He is going to jump Mark, possibly if Grayson doesn't show up tomorrow, jump Grayson, and may. I mean, I don't think he'll jump Bill, but he'll make that margin of victory just a little bit closer and make it maybe a little bit tighter, right? And then Dalton is also one that's he's hasn't won all year. He had an opportunity at Legacy, Texas, to capitalize on a win, kind of a last pit stop mistake cost him that victory. And so, I mean, that's another guy who's probably going to point himself in if he doesn't win a race, that's going to change. We all know that's going to change for those of you that tune into this podcast week in and week out, or when we do this show all the time. So um, he he has a great opportunity amongst himself to just move himself into that top five in the point standing.
Yeah, I got a note here from Dalton. He said Grayson will also be there. So, I mean, huge opportunity for a couple of these guys that are pretty up there in points to make up some ground. Unfortunately, that it's on you and 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 guys like Bill and I know Mark's probably at this rate not racing for a regular season championship, but I'm sure that would be a feather in his cap he wouldn't mind having. So, um, and he's a threat to come out there and win, right? He's raced 4 times and he's won twice, so that gap can disappear pretty quickly for a guy like Mark. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, guys like Gibson and Pate can certainly make up some ground tomorrow. Haven't heard a lot from Nathan Eastep, but hopefully he's able to throw his hat back into the ring tomorrow. He's raced 4 times with us this season, and he seems very competitive everywhere we go. You can see he's got 4 top 10s, so he's very consistent. And a track like Charlotte, I'm sure some of these guys that are up here towards the top are definitely licking their chops for an opportunity to make up some ground.
Yeah, and the guy that I'm looking at, the guys that are in ninth, 10th, John Gutekunst's down there in 13th. Those guys, if they show up tomorrow too, they could have a big day. I know Brett has a long drive home. He's going to try to get everything set up in order to race tomorrow night. Seabright has probably been the most improved driver that
Mm-hmm.
in the past 2 seasons. He's got a chance to make up a lot of ground. And then obviously John with having the one victory, right, but only the 2 starts. So is going to have an opportunity to make up some ground on these top runners, at least the second and third place guy. And who knows? We said it earlier. We don't know. Anything could happen. Something could happen to Zach tomorrow night where he has a faulty pit stop. God forbid. Something breaks. He gets caught up in an accident, and that race becomes even more tighter with Bill and I missing tomorrow night and Mark. Um, you know, it could even be even tighter when we leave Charlotte going next week to Bristol.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities. If anybody's been following Friday Night Fuel for any period of time, you know that the current points leader is just as shocked as anyone else that he is still the points leader. So we're just waiting for the bottom to drop out. But let's get rid of the points, and now we're back. So hello, and now we get to move into our pit stop for tonight. And I just figured. Our trip to Atlanta was uh, action packed, and there was a lot going on. And unfortunately, I mean, I brought all my stuff. It's just we never really had the time when anybody was going to tune in. Right? It would have had to been ridiculously late at night to do something. In terms of a broadcast from the track, and we really wanted to do that, but time didn't allow it. But I figured we talk to everybody about our trip down to Atlanta and talk about some real life racing for a little bit, and talk about Echo Park Speedway and all of its accommodations and what the fan experience was like. And yeah, so just figured that this would be a great time to talk to folks about, hey, if you're ever planning a trip down to Atlanta, this is what you can look for.
Yeah, I had a blast, not gonna lie. So appreciative of you for even sending an invite to go out to Atlanta. We started our trip 7:30 in the morning Central Time and from Texas and made our journey over to Atlanta. And Zach, about 6 hours into the trip, I'm thinking, why didn't I just fly there? I don't like this. This isn't fun anymore. Also, about halfway through the trip, the tire pressure gauge came on the car, and I'm like, crap, is there a leak on the tire? Am I even going to make it to Atlanta? What what's going on? So we did make it. We made it safely. We made it about 7:30, and you had a journey too. And we'll get to your side of the story, trying to get to Atlanta as well. But the first thing we did is we didn't even check into the Airbnb. We went straight to Echo Park Speedway and kind of try to figure out where needed to go, kind of see where the souvenir hauler were, and maybe the parking, how that worked out, where we're going to park. It's obviously a new racetrack for me and you. Don't know kind of where to go. So we just kind of scoped the scene out. And as we were driving through I can't say campus, right? Driving through the grounds area, came up on the NASCAR Cup Series haulers. And so anybody that follows me on Instagram, you saw a couple of those pictures on the story. They had them all lined up, Zach, ready to go into the track Saturday morning. And that was a pretty cool thing to see is there's two cup cars that are in each hauler, and so it was cool to see all these haulers just lined out on the side of the street, ready to go inside of the racetrack. And Echo Park didn't really do like a Bristol style parade like like Vegas does it. We don't do it here in Texas or like they do in Daytona. Some of that stuff. So it was pretty cool to see all the stuff surrounding the hoopla at Echo Park for the summer race.
Yeah, and there certainly was a lot to do down in Atlanta when it wasn't, post-apocalyptic conditions down there. We've quickly found out that rain does not obey the laws of rain down south. Cells literally pop up out of nowhere if you tuned into the either race at all, whether it be the Xfinity Series race or the Cup race, you found out that, hey man, these cells, they just come out of nowhere. And I'm sure watching from home, you're like, okay, yeah, right. Well, we can tell you because we were there. They literally pop out of nowhere and don't move. They just stay where they are and dump whatever is in the cloud right where they are. And I know one night we did a really dumb thing when most of Atlanta was without power, and it was crazy. It was like there were branches down everywhere, and chaos everywhere, and traffic on the highway broken as far as the eye can see, and all the lights and all the businesses and all the street lights were off. It was literally like the apocalypse happened, and here we are. We're going to Top Golf, and it's like, dang it, we scheduled a booking. We're going, and sure enough, we managed to get there. And at night, rather, this wasn't like a midday thing. This was very late in the evening, and managed to have a good time over there. But yeah, the weather down there was just absolutely insane. I really enjoyed uh the fan accommodations there at Atlanta. Found a nice little tucked away bar there at the Speedway. That was nice. On a hot day, the air really moved well through there and seemed to be a popular spot. And got down on the track. We're able to have some access. You got pretty close to the garage. With our passes, we weren't spending that kind of money to go into the garage, but we got to see the cars being pushed out onto the track and got to go down pit road. And yeah, it was really neat. And to see the new Atlanta, to stand on the track, it gives you an appreciation of, man, they are all really crammed in here. It's a lot more narrow than, in my opinion, what it looks like on TV. It makes a lot of sense that Atlanta is a 2-lane track, and then 3 gets really sketchy. And at least from my experience, just standing there being like, wow, this is a lot thinner than I expected.
Yeah, and you touched it. So it is a SMI sister track to Texas Motor Speedway. So I saw a lot of similarities with what they had going on compared to Texas. That bar area that you mentioned, we actually have that here in Texas. And so it's just a long bar, had a couple seats. Zach and I were able to snag some seats and sit in the shade for a little bit. I want to say we got to the track around 3 o'clock, 3:30, maybe even 4 at the latest.
Yeah.
And it was just hot. So I know Zach came up from the mountains, and in the south, it's just hot all the time. It doesn't
It's
matter where you
impressive.
are. Yeah, it was just hot. So we chilled in the shade for a little bit. Me and Zach chatted it up, talking different things from this to that. And you,
Mainly
you think
about
we
Brett.
talked about it? We talked about it. Yeah, we did talk about Brett a lot and how he like makes bonehead moves and I don't know, comes up with crazy ideas that doesn't seem to work all the time. But yeah, we were able to take the tunnel too. We took the tunnel where our seats were into the infield, and David and I ran into Mike Helton. We saw him, and then you forgot the best part. We had a 30-minute lightning hold where we all had to go back up top. So Zach and I are all down on the track. They're doing their thing near the stage concert where they're doing the pre-race show, and then David and I kind of chilled where the TNT desk was. for pre-race, and we were hoping to
Yeah.
see ourselves on TV. And unfortunately, a lightning struck hit, and so all of us had to clear pit road. We had to clear the track. They had to make us go back up into the grandstand area. And so, man, that wasn't fun. And Zach, we walked so much that we told your buddy who was hoping to go meet Ross Chastain, we're not going. That's just too far of a walk to do all that stuff. We're gonna chill here. And it kind of worked itself out where we were able to.
Bubba got a fist bump. He
He got a
did.
fist bump. He did.
Yeah.
We were able just to kind of chill, relax for a little bit before the race. And yeah, that Southern Heat's different. I know Texas Heat
Whew.
different, but yeah, the Atlanta Heat it was a little bit muggy, but not to my liking. And so yeah, it was just sweaty, and the rain kind of helped a little bit, cooler temps.
Yeah.
Once that stuff started to come in and the sun went down, and it was just a blast being over there and seeing everything that goes around that racetrack for how big of the race was.
And the best part,
There we go. There we
the
go.
winner. The winner. The winner. Yeah. So Chase Elliott finally wins after over a year-long drought, and he had a good ally to push him around. And yeah, it was. I know for for anybody watching, that race was probably frustrating. If you're an HMS fan, you were probably wondering why in the world aren't these two guys who are clearly better than most of the field just work together. That was the same thing that Ricky and I were saying, literally at the track, watching these two buffoons try to outduel each other. And I'm like, you guys could literally just run away with this whole thing. And yeah, so Chase Elliott gets the win. I got a new hat, got a couple new die casts, which I thought I'd never do again, but here we are, and let the addiction begin. And yeah, it was, in my opinion, all worth it because Chase won. So I can't remember if this is like my third or fourth. I know it's at least three, but we've been doing this guy's trip for a number of years now, and I've been pretty lucky, like going places and Chase winning. So it felt good. And the fans were like losing their minds because, you know, you're in Georgia, and it was so cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard so many "Go Dogs!" Row, 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 row. I don't think I've ever heard that so many times. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that we saw there at Atlanta as well. You mentioned Bowman and Elliott not working together for more than 2 laps. It was kind of weird. They, no, I want to lead. No, but I want to lead. And then also one of the takeaways that I saw as that track and asphalt ages, the product is, to me, and Zach, we said it on the way home when we were actually chilling in the parking lot waiting for traffic to die down. That was a really good product that those drivers put on at that racetrack. With it being a mile and a half super speedway type race, we thought it was just going to be everybody ride the top like they normally do, kind of save fuel to the end. No, the leader kind of just, you couldn't lead. They would just get runs off of two and all that stuff. And one thing that I did see with the HMS cars was those cars were able just to do anything that they wanted to do. They were able to pull to the bottom, get underneath people, and side draft and pull them back, and let's go to the front. They were able to work together at certain times during the race with the 9 and the 48. And then our seats where we were had the best view of seeing that 24 car pileup going into turn number 3. And I'm not gonna lie, my heart did drop for a little bit as you see your favorite driver being collected into that massacre that happened down there. And there's a certain viewer that's watching that her favorite driver came around. I'll just say it involves the number 2, but there's multiple 2s on that car. And I have never heard a crowd cheer so much for that driver and Denny Hamlin as they were coming back around to go to the garage and go to the DVP area. And Denny got his car fixed, fortunately. And he was able, Zach, he ran 4 laps when he came back on track and picked up 6 spots. So that shows you why these teams are so trying to get everything worked out together and trying to get these cars back on track. Another thing that we saw, since there were so many cars involved in that accident, usually you see teams with other team members helping out, right? So we'll use Hendrick as an example. 48 goes to the garage Well, you see people from the 5, the 9, the 24 all trying to help that car get back on track if it's able to. You couldn't do that with how big the number of cars that were in that wreck. So it was like it just looked like a big junkyard trying to get everybody fixed up. But at the end of the day, I thought the racing was fantastic, and Hendrick missed out on a 1-2 finish by .001. So Alex, know the feeling. Lost the championship by .002. Definitely know that feeling of coming oh so close of coming home with a 1-2 finish.
Yeah, we have a viewer here. She's made her opinion known that Denny Hamlin sucks, and I find that very odd. Because, I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I do. But we'll leave it there. So you're all filled up and ready to go. Let's now leave pit road and hit the track as we look forward to Charlotte Motor Speedway here as Friday Night Fuel takes on another Crown Jewel event. Money will be won here at this event as we are paying drivers who win Crown Jewels all year long. So really excited to see this. But Charlotte Motor Speedway, formerly known as Lowe's Motor Speedway, the house that Jimmy built, is a 1.5 mile racetrack, and it's held in Concord, North Carolina. It started in its inaugural season, 1960, including NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA races, and the facility is, of course, owned by Speedway Motorsports, SMI. And this track is well known for its great history with NASCAR and is very popular among the iRacers community who decide to take its historic banks and try their best to often endure league's longest races of the season as they simulate NASCAR competition. And that's exactly what Friday Night Fuel is doing, right? We have this Crown Jewel set aside for a patriotic weekend. Lots of patriotic schemes coming on out. People are going to be honoring service members as well on the cars all throughout the evening. Just cool details that are going to be found in these cars. And during the race itself, drivers are going to be tested because it's a long one here at Charlotte.
We just gonna let that one go. Just let that one go.
Hold it together.
Keep going. You're good. Keep going.
No, that was it. That was my opener. So now you got to endure and talk here about Charlotte. What are some of the things that drivers have to look out for at this race? Of course, endurance is going to be one of them. Don't really think about that when it comes to sim racing, but for as long as we're going to be out there on the racetrack, that will definitely be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, well, I thought you were talking about a comment that just popped up into our chat. I thought.
I did. I did. I'm just telling you, you gotta muscle through that too.
Yeah. So, the drivers that's probably going to be the most challenging, right? Who can endure running a lot of reps, right? 240 laps tomorrow at a mile and a half, by far our longest race of the season that we're going to be doing. Who can be the one that just saves their stuff? Who can be the one that stays out of trouble? Who's the one that has the right strategy that comes down to making sure that you can make it and have the freshest set of tires on the race car by the end of the race? We kind of struggled at this event, being able to not just be patient. The first year that we did this, we just got demolished coming out in the middle of 1 and 2. And then last year we had a good run. I felt like we had top 5 speed, and then I think we came in like 4th or 3rd, or and everybody's gonna laugh, but that's kind of a terrible day for us when you're expecting to be in that top 2 consistently week in and week out, right? So it's gonna be, do you run the high side? This is one of the tracks too that iRacing rescanned, right? Do you run the top? Kind of, you want to go forward, or do you kind of just save your stuff, run the bottom, or run the middle where everybody's not running to get clean air on the race car? So it's all about decision making at this point. It's going to be like who's playing chess to who's playing checkers at this point in the time. So not sure how far you can go on a tank of fuel. I'm pretty sure you're probably going to be able to go maybe 40, 50 laps on a tank of fuel. Probably going to have 6 sets of tires. We always give 2 extra sets during these Crown Jewel events, especially with how long this thing can be. And you just got to have the right strategy. And if you're there at the right time, anything can happen. Who's going to be good in the daytime? Who's not going to be good at night? Who's going to be fantastic at night and who's going to be terrible during the day? There's going to be an ever evolving track with the temperature being set, the sun going down. And so, yeah, those are some of the factors we're going to look at. Pit road is pretty much easy to get onto. So don't see people making mistakes off of that. You don't have to turn left to go into the infield section. So that'll be another good thing for these drivers. And then who can just manage the draft? But the draft is, you didn't think the draft in these cars is going to matter. Oh, it matters when you're going at the high banks of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And now thinking about this, kind of have an idea of who wants to be picked going into tomorrow night. But those are kind of, I think, the keys of going into tomorrow. Having a good mindset, obviously, 240 laps, that's a long time. We already said that, right? But you just got to have a good mindset. It's going to be a long night. Who cramps and who doesn't cramp? At Martinsville, we saw drivers cramping. I'm not going to lie, I was one of those drivers at the end cramping there. Who can be in the seat? Who's going to take a pit stop to actually go take a pit stop to the bathroom, right? So a lot of factors being played tomorrow night, and hopefully these drivers can survive the longest night in iRacing for them to do, unless they've done the real life Coke 600 that happened about a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, and I know there will be a point in the race where I get on the radio and say the thing that I tend to say when the races are just a little too long. My butt hurts. And so sorry, teammates, but that complaint is for sure coming tomorrow because it's a long one. It's a long one. And driver endurance has to be at the top of the conversation. I view Charlotte really in terms of how we do it as a track where, man, you just got to fall in love with being consistent and find that rhythm and just fall in love with it as the race goes on. And with the track conditions changing, and I'm glad you brought this up, it can be hard to figure out a rhythm as the race goes on because the track will grip up, the track will change and will become a benefit for you to get more aggressive as the night wears on. And you're going to have to redo your rhythm, right? That you've established early on, tiptoeing around a slicker racetrack to now a really grippy racetrack. And then find that mode for that last probably fourth of the event where you're just pushing all the time, hoping that you can get every ounce of speed out of that car as you can.
Yeah, and to me, knowing you're probably going to run the bottom a lot and try to save your stuff to just be there. Man, it's going to be tough. And then with the attendance rate that we haven't really had the past couple of weeks, that's what I'm also worried about. You're already missing 3 drivers, and there possibly could be more that don't show up tomorrow night, and it could be a long night for those drivers. Not a lot of cautions. You get spaced out after green flag pit stops, and then you kind of just go from there. And the one person I'm going to feel really bad for, it's going to be our race control. I mean, because he's going to have to sit through all that and just, I don't know, he can probably make hibachi in front of him or do something if these guys get strung out. But that's another concerning part is who's going to be there mentally to try to survive all 300 and something. I don't know how many miles. I don't know what 240 miles equals, or 240 laps equals in mileage. But 200 is 300 miles. So I'm probably looking at around, I don't know, 375 miles, maybe. No, am I wrong?
Sounds about. Well, it's half of. Or how many laps is it?
240, and half of 400 is 300. I mean, so
well, so half of 240 is 120. So it's 240 plus 120. So it'd be 360.
Okay, 360 miles. Good luck tomorrow, buddy. Hope you have fun. Hope you enjoy it.
Hey, I drove through Virginia to get through to go to, and it took 6 hours. It was terrible. So yeah, I think we're okay. Hey, we're charged up, man. We went on vacation. You know, these drivers should be well rested and charged up and ready for Charlotte. So, really excited for what tomorrow will hold. uh, we're now at the part of the show where many of you, I'm sure, are just on bated breath because I haven't done this in quite some time. And I'm sorry to tell you that I'm not going to be making a prediction today because this is a unique week where Ricky will not be racing tomorrow. And we try on the show to make sure that if one of us isn't racing, they're the ones making the predictions. So, Ricky, when you look out into the field here at Charlotte, I know it's kind of hard to pick depending on who's going to be there, but who's got your eye and to capture a crown jewel, get that, get some money and
Yeah.
walk away a winner.
Yeah. Well, I think this guy, he's been really good all year long. We didn't know kind of at the beginning of the season where his talent really stood. I'm gonna go with Dalton. I think he came in second at Texas. I feel like if he didn't slide through the pit box, he would have ran us down. He took 2 tires. He would have ran us down, passed us for the lead, driven off with it, and already been clinched. But similar track. I feel like he did really good at that mile and a half before we went there. Um, if he can just stay consistent, hit his marks, and when I say hit your marks, it's not just on the racetrack, it's everywhere. Coming to pit road, making sure you're not speeding. Don't slide through your pit box like you did at TMS. Just hit everything the right way. He has the potential to possibly sweep the weekend. We know he's bad fast. He can sit on the pole. He can win a stage. He can do all that stuff. And it's an opportunity for him to have a really, really big night. And I'm a fan of that, of people like that. Also, he's just a great person. You get to know these drivers as an admin on and off the sim, and you get to hang out with them after the race. And we've got an opportunity to get Dalton to know Dalton a little bit more. And thanks to Spencer Teal for bringing him onto his team. And he's just a down to earth guy. And so I can always cheer for people like that when they go venture off and do other stuff and race and participate in other leagues. And so I believe tomorrow night he's going to lock himself in. He's going to lead the most laps. So I'm going to add more to my prediction because I'm like that. You're not, scaredy little boy. Anyways, uh, he's going to lead the most laps. He's going to win the stage, and he's going to go on and win the race. And then you're going to come around and probably try to take him out because that's what you do.
Oh, no, 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 it is not. Oh, I feel attacked. Oh man, I told you, meeting you in real life has changed you. You've changed. You're so much more aggressive now. Yeah. So
I just like picking on you, Zach. We picked on each other all night, all weekend in Atlanta. It's just we pick. Yeah, I don't know. She says I'm a bully. That's what she says.
Oh, good. At least she knows. Man, well, yes, I think that Dalton's a pretty solid pick. Keep a lookout for guys like John Gutekunst, as we don't know if he's racing tomorrow, but if he does, that could be another fast guy. A guy out of the JST stable that I always keep going back to, and I'm not picking him to win.
Oh, you're not?
Is also Spencer Teal. I'm not making predictions. I'm just telling people who to look out for. Spencer Teal is also pretty good at Charlotte, so yeah, just keep an eye out for some of those guys that are going to be big time factors tomorrow, and hopefully I'm able to play some strategy right and be up there with some of those faster guys and not have the points chip away too bad tomorrow at Charlotte. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'm really excited. Do you have any closing thoughts for tonight's show? I want to thank the YouTube chat for being so active.
Yeah, I just got two things, and one to answer is Brett's question there. So we have a birthday dinner that we're attending tomorrow night for my best friend, his fiance, soon to be wife. Actually, we're the best man in that wedding. I've known the guy since we were in fourth grade, but we're celebrating his wife's birthday tomorrow night, and then Vanessa just got a promotion, and then she also got some extra stuff at work with a bonus. And so we're just gonna go out and celebrate all the good times, all the accomplishments that have happened this weekend, and that's why we won't be in the car tomorrow night. And then the second thing is thoughts and prayers out to the guys down and people down in Central Texas. Had a massive flood that went through the river rose in an hour. It rose like 13 feet, sorry. And yeah, just extreme prayers down to those people, that, especially in the city of Kerrville. I know people like George Strait has sent donations. HEB, which is a major grocery store down here in Texas, the Fort Worth, where I'm from, Fort Worth Fire Department, they've sent firefighters down there to help with the rescue and all that stuff. So just want to, they're on the thoughts in our mind. And usually when we race the Charlotte race too, Zach, we have a Fort Worth Fire Department paint scheme that we run. It emulates the real life fire truck that's here in Fort Worth. Mark and I's dad, he did 36 years on the fire department service, so it always hits home when you see other kind of cities and towns kind of struggle with a major disaster with what's going on down there in Texas. So if you can help donate, whatever needs you can do. We're actually going through some old clothes of mine. We're going to probably send those off down to Central Texas just to help those family in needs. Vanessa's sent some stuff to a friend that's down there in the Central Texas area. So anybody, if you can help, man, please do it. These people are hurting. They just lost everything. I've had friends that had flooding in their houses. One friend was out in the mountains on vacation with his family. They come back, there's 2.5 foot of water in their home. And so they're going through that struggle as well as many others down in that area. So just want to put that out there for everybody that's watching the podcast. If you have an opportunity, please do to help somebody that really needs it in dire need.
I think that's a really great way to end the show. So from us to you, we hope that you have a lot of fun this weekend. I know the drivers of Friday Night Fuel certainly will. And keep on the lookout of who you might be able to lend a helping hand to. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks here from the High Octane podcast for my broadcast partner, Ricky. Ricky, you're over here. My name is Zach Woods. Yeah. And we'll talk to you all next time.
Just two guys named Ricky and Zach. Strum that rhythm, never look back. Easy talking when racing's a blast. Just here on the High Octane podcast.